Hello. Welcome to Pull to Open, an ongoing quest to watch all of Doctor Who in random order. I'm Pete Paschal, and this is a very special edition this week. Chris couldn't be here this week. We are kind of on hiatus, but we'll be back soon to do our latest episode, The Mark of the Rani. Those of you who are following know that that was where the randomizer pointed us to next, so watch for that commentary soon. But today we have something special for you. As longtime listeners of the podcast may know, I often sit down to watch Doctor Who for this podcast with my son Jack. And he's joining us here today to tell us all about his thoughts on Doctor Who and what he's learned and what he thinks of it now that he's been watching it for several years and now watching it with me for this podcast. And I wanted to say, hi, Jack. How are you?
I'm good. How long has it been? Like 4 years? 5 years I've been watching Doctor Who?
I think since you were like 7, probably even earlier than that. Do you remember?
Yeah, so 5 years. 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. Jack, why don't you tell us how you first got into Doctor Who, if you can remember? Because, well, first of all, tell us how old you are.
I'm 12 years old.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's for the viewers. But I wanted to, do you remember how you first got into watching Doctor Who? Do you remember the first time you watched it?
I remember the first time. You probably don't remember this. I was like 3 or 4 years old. It was the first Peter Capaldi episode. I remember I came downstairs and you were watching as it premiered the first Peter Capaldi episode.
And that was I think that's Deep Breath, right? And that's the one that was the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the Thames River. Do you remember all that? So that was the first one you ever saw?
That's the first one I ever saw.
Oh, what year was that? I got to think of that.
I was like 3 or 4 years old. Wait, no, I was
2014, probably. So you were 4 or 5 years old at the time. Wow, that's an interesting one. What did you remember? What you thought, or how you felt when you watched it?
I remember I was interested and kind of scared at the same time.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I was mostly there for the T-Rex.
That usually sounds like what Doctor Who's usually going for. You know, it's interesting, but it's actually there to kind of scare you a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you ever been really scared by an episode of Doctor Who? I think I know the answer to this.
Yes. Wasn't I scared by Tooth and Claw the first time I watched it?
Yeah, I think that was because when we started sort of watching them together, do you remember we started with Christopher Eccleston, and then Tooth and Claw was soon after. So you were still 7, I think, when we were watching Tooth and Claw. And that's kind of a scary one. It's kind of a scary beginning, doesn't it?
Yeah, I got 19 minutes in, I think.
Yeah, there's a thing where there's the bad monster werewolf thing is in a cage somewhere, and it's really dark, and there's scary voices and stuff. That was definitely what you might call hide behind the sofa moments. Cool. So when did you really? So you told me you started at the when you were 4. Or you didn't start, but that was the first time you saw Doctor Who. But I was curious. So I think, again, I know the answer to this, but when did you start watching Doctor Who for real? Sitting down when you were 7, right?
Yeah, I was 7.
And then why did you want to do that? What did you like about it? Why did you hear about it? I don't think I was like, hey, Jack, we're watching Doctor Who. And we just started doing it. But you kind of wanted to do it. Do you remember why?
I'm not totally sure. I think I saw a few of your Doctor Who magazines or something.
Yeah, that's probable. I leave them lying around. Well, there was also, do you remember we visited Edmonton, where I'm originally from? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. We've done that plenty of times. But yeah, I remember the one when I was 6 or 7.
And then I think there was, do you remember your cousin Brandon had some video games, and one of them was Lego Doctor Who or something? Remember this?
No, it was a Lego thing with Doctor Who in it.
Right, but it seemed like you really liked the Doctor Who stuff in that. And then after that, you'd certainly known about Doctor Who because you're my son, and I see there's a lot of Doctor Who stuff. But then you kind of wanted to watch it, and I was like, okay, let's sit down and watch it together. I think that's how it went, right?
Yeah, that sounds
cool.
Right.
So, do you have a favorite Doctor?
Yes. Matt Smith is my favorite doctor.
Nice. Matt Smith is a good doctor. Why is he your favorite doctor?
I feel like the way he played the doctor and the sort of stories kind of like revolving and like around that type of character was just really good. Also, I feel like he had the best opening episode of probably ever any doctor with the 11th hour, which is maybe my favorite doctor episode. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's one of my favorites for sure. You're right about that. Do you have a favorite companion?
Um, no, not really.
No, okay. Not even like Amy and Rory, since they were like the main companions for Matt Smith.
I'm not sure. I feel like actually probably Clara because I feel like she was the most competent.
Oh, interesting. That's good to have competent companions. Do you have a favorite monster?
Favorite monster? That's really tough. Hmm.
I
I've
see
always
there's.
I've always liked the Cybermen over the Daleks,
Oh, yeah? Why is
which is
that?
a pretty comfort. I feel like first of all, I was introduced to them first. Second of
Hmm.
all, I feel like they're more less impenetrable than Daleks are. I feel like
Right.
the fact that they can be beaten, like by a normal human using like a machine gun, like it's
Mm,
possible. I feel like that makes them. I'm not sure. It's like I just feel like there's like multiple ways to defeat them, whereas you
right.
need to have like 100 people with machine guns to defeat one Dalek.
Oh, even then, I don't know if you'd do it. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I see. I see your point. They're just a little more realistically defeatable, I guess,
yeah,
and it sort of lends itself to better stories as opposed to like Daleks, which are just. What's the term you use? OP.
yeah. Oh, broken, cracked, and overpowered.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotcha. So you already talked about probably your favorite episode, which is the 11th hour. That's cool. So one of the cool things that we do together is we often watch Doctor Who together when I'm watching it for the podcast, right? I really
Yeah,
like to hear your thoughts on it. And when we started watching Doctor Who when you were 7, we mostly well, we stuck with the new series because that's what was most recently done. But now you've been watching more classic series.
yeah.
So what do you think of the classic series now that you've seen more of it?
I think it has. I feel like this is like I feel like it's really good, but something I feel like each episode doesn't feel special because there's just so many of them.
Hmm.
Like I heard you talking about this like Death of the Daleks. There's like five of the same episodes basically, like Death of the Daleks, Power of the Daleks, something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different titles of Dalek episodes that probably are similarly structured. Um, okay, that's interesting. That's sort of there's a little more filler, I
Yeah,
guess you might say.
yeah, but I feel like it does have some amazing moments, and some great episodes. Like
Yeah.
Genesis is the Daleks is
Mhm.
one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, that was really cool. I like that you saw that right when you've been studying World War II, right, in
Yeah.
school.
Oh,
And
I mean, the school version is kind of useless. But I've been studying World War II on my own for a bit now, like a
that's
year.
good. That's good. And so there's some World War II kind of overtones in that one. But what else did you like about Genesis of the Daleks? Why was that one of a standout one for you?
Okay. I felt like the scenario is is quite scary. Like 1,000 years of war.
Hmm.
That's like what, like 50 generations. Actually,
Yeah, that's a
no.
lot.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
like 50 generations of people that only know war.
Maybe
That's
20. I don't know.
all. That's
Because
all
it's
that.
like 4 generations a century times 10 centuries.
Oh yeah, that would
So maybe that's
40.
40. Sorry, we were both wrong. So
Okay,
you were
so
close. You were closer. Yeah, you could say 50 if it's probably shorter generations.
40
Okay,
to
never
50,
mind.
40
Let's
to, 40
we
to
lost
50
in the math.
generations
But you like
of
the whole idea of a war that could last 1,000 years and what that would
yeah,
do
and
to a
I
planet, right?
yeah, and I feel like the Daleks, the first time they're ever seen, it's like they well, not the first time they're ever seen, but the first time they're ever seen by the characters. Like sometimes in Dalek stories, it'll be like the other characters, not the Doctor and everybody. The other characters would be like, "What's that?" and be like, I mean, sorry, that's what it was like. Genesis Daleks, like, "Oh, that's a Dalek. We have to run." Whereas this one, they're like, "What's that?" and uh, that leads to a lot of deaths. Like, I think the Falls maybe like would have had if this were not Genesis at all, because the first time they're seen, they see a dog and they run. But I remember in the first team, they see the dog, they kind of like back away, but they're confused on what it is, and then the dogs start just murdering them all.
Hmm.
And I feel like that was an extreme advantage to them. And the fact of just having a backstory, I think, was quite good.
Yeah. What did you think of Davros?
I like Davros. He's really like scary, but I feel like there's that one scene, probably my favorite scene of the entire thing, where the doctor says like, if you had a disease in like a canister and the disease would kill like everything in the universe. Yeah, I forget if would you release it or would you I think it was would you release it? And Davros is like thinks about it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, yes. And I feel like that's just like a very moment like, okay, this guy is like absolutely insane.
Cool. Try to say a little bit closer to the microphone when you're speaking there, but that was
Okay.
good. Yeah. Are there any other classic series episodes that you like?
I've watched quite a few now. I'm trying to think.
Well, is there a doctor from the classic series that you like better than the others?
Uh, I like the fourth one and the third one.
Oh yeah, those are both good. So John Pertwee and Tom Baker.
The what was it? The Talons of Xin Yang,
To the Talons of Wang Chiang. Yeah,
Wang
that's a
Chang.
good
Okay,
one.
that
Yep.
was a good one. That was like probably my second favorite.
Cool. Why did you like that one?
I like the setting, and
Victorian
I
London.
yeah, I like the fact that they don't really know who they're even like trying to like fight or apprehend for like
Hmm.
half of the entire thing.
Hmm.
Like they know the general area and the general person, but they don't exactly know who.
Yeah. That episode is also known for the rat and how bad it looks. That's like a emblematic of like the bad special effects in classic Doctor Who, which we all know about and we all
Yeah.
sort of live with and understand. But I'm curious how you sort of see it because you've grown up obviously in when special effects are much better. You've used to the new series. You watch Marvel movies and that sort of thing. How do you like looking at old shows like Doctor Who where the special effects aren't very good? Do you find them less watchable? Do you not? Do you like them less because of that, or what? How do you think of it that way?
Well, 2 years ago, I would have said a lot less watchable. Now I would say like maybe slightly less watchable, but I still feel like the story and everything and tone matters more than the special effects. Because yes,
Nice.
the special effects matter and maybe it's slightly less watchable, but I would watch Genesis of the Daleks or like the Talons of Wing Chiang every time over like an average or bad like NuWho episode.
Yeah. Oh, I think a lot of people agree with you. That's great. Do you ever see parts of the old show that make you appreciate things in the new show more? You know what I mean? Like when you might see because I know you watched the Davros episodes, for example, in the new series, and then you went to see Genesis of the Daleks, which was the first appearance. That might give you a little more insight in the character. Do you ever see things like that? Like, oh, that's where that's from. Like, remember we watched the Deadly Assassin and at the Time Lords and stuff like that. Has it given you more appreciation for stuff in the new series?
Yeah, I've it's weird. I see all like the references in reverse.
Hmm.
It's like Whereas people who watch like classic Who would like see the references in NuWho and it's like, oh, hey, there's a reference. And I'm like, and then I watch NuWho and then watch classic Who and I'm like, oh, so that's what the reference is from.
Hmm.
Oh, that was a reference.
Yeah, totally. So do you ever talk about Doctor Who with your friends, and what do you guys talk about if you do?
One friend, Charlie, I got him into Doctor Who.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, he started watching, I think it was 9? Yeah, he was 9 and we were both 9. And he's really enjoyed it.
Hmm.
He caught up to us while we were waiting for the 12th season, I believe.
Okay,
And
cool.
yeah, um, I talk about it with him sometimes. A bit less lately because there's just been less Doctor Who. Like back when we
Yeah,
were like 9 or 10, we were like binging the show.
yeah,
Like we were watching
totally.
it like an episode or two every week, and so we would constantly chat about what we've seen.
Yeah, and now that there hasn't really been a lot of it, there's not a lot to talk about. Yeah, all of Doctor Who fans share your frustration there. Um, so you heard about the new Doctor that's coming, Ncuti Gatwa, right?
Yes,
You talked about
I
it, right? Yeah.
saw the video on my YouTube recommended page.
Oh, cool.
It's like introducing the new Doctor, I believe.
Yeah. So, what are you excited for the new Doctor?
Yes, I am excited because I feel like the anything's better than the last one.
You didn't like Jodie Whittaker as much?
No, I don't. I just feel like she wasn't fit for like the role. Like
Uh-huh.
for example, Peter Capaldi. He played the Doctor, and in each actor plays the Doctor in a different way, and so you get to see different parts, different personalities. But I
Hmm.
feel like Jodie Whittaker has a tough time playing a character like the Doctor.
Hmm. Interesting. Did you think that it might have been more sort of the way certain episodes are written, um, or the actress? I mean, how do you think it was the issue there?
I have nothing against Jodie Whittaker. I feel like Jodie Whittaker is a good actor. I don't feel like she was meant for the role of the Doctor, but also I feel like the episode writing was also not that good.
Yeah,
And partly like meant for somebody else, a different personality than
yeah,
hers.
totally hear you. Cool. So, what are you excited about for the next Doctor? What do you want them to do?
Um,
Do you want to see some classic villains? Do you want to see Daleks and Cybermen again, or do you want it to try more original things? Do you want to do more stuff on Earth, stuff in the past, stuff in the future, stuff in the universe? What do you think they should do?
as a totally unbiased view, I definitely think they should do more episodes in the past. I feel
Yeah.
like that's something that's been lacking a lot and doesn't even have to be far in the past. Like they could go back to like the 1960s and do
Hmm.
something. Or
Yeah.
they could go back to like the Renaissance and do something.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like the Robin Hood episode, which we watched recently, I really liked,
Hmm.
knowing a lot more than what I used to when I first watched it about the medieval era. And
Yeah.
I feel like that just really, if you know the medieval era and if it's written accurate to the medieval era, it feels just better overall.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I feel like they should do more stuff in the past.
Cool. Yeah. That's a good note for Russell T Davies, who's coming back. That's great, Jack. Okay, we should probably wrap it up. I know you've got things. Is there any final thoughts? Where would you like to see the podcast next? What do you think we should do, me and Chris?
Like what episode? Because it's
No, just
randomized.
should we do other things on the show? Should we read more comments
Um,
from TikTok, or I
I
guess we already
feel
do
like
enough of that.
something that would be interesting is like you're asking me these questions. You could ask each other questions on what you thought about the episode.
That's
So that could
good.
be a fun part
We
added to
could
it.
do a little more, be a little more proactive about getting things out of the other person. I got you.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Well, Jack, this has been great. Thanks very much for joining us, and I look forward to sitting down and watching more Doctor Who with you in the very near future.
Okay.
All
Yep.
right. We'll
I do
talk
too.
to you soon. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to this very special episode of Pull to Open. with me and my son Jack, who love to watch Doctor Who together, and I do also like to share his thoughts with y'all when we do our commentaries. As always, please subscribe to the podcast if you are not subscribed yet. Also, follow us on social media. We're very active on TikTok at Pull To Open. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at Pull To Open 63. And hey, guys, we're also on YouTube now. We have been for a while, but now we're super active on YouTube. We are at youtube.com/Pull To Open. We will see you next time when we take on Mark of the Ronnie when Chris returns. And I'm sure Jack has a few things to say about that as well. Talk to you soon.